again.
Hey, are you okay? I'm so tired.
Oh, well, I'm just not used to the time change yet.
Excuse me, ladies in the front row. You don't seem to be very focused on the lesson this morning. Could you please tell me the answer to question B?
The
X
square root
plus
of 5?
Incorrect. The answer is 7 cubed. Next time it's detention, girls.
I'm gonna ask about Sam today after class.
What's that smell?
It's Mystery Meat Monday. Duh.
Hey girlies, you want some mystery meat? I'll pass. Again?
Yes, please!
I think something's up with that lunch lady.
Oh no, this is pretty good. I think it's poison! Are you okay? She's dead. What did you do?
You are next. I found you. Guess what's for lunch tomorrow?
Hi, I'm Mayan.
And I'm Ruti.
And welcome to the Transcript. This week, 2024 budget cuts are investigated.
A March Madness event is explored.
Take Awards goes to cafes.
Wheel of Courses discovers women and gender studies.
And Culture Shock covers local news at the Haymarket.
On Tuesday, the United Nations Weather Agency issued a red alert about climate change, referencing 2023 being the hottest year on record, with a record-breaking increase in greenhouse gas emissions. The World Meteorological Organization also stated that it is likely that 2024 could be another record hot year. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court, in a 6-3 vote, upheld Texas law that allows police at the border along the Rio Grande River to arrest migrants crossing illegally. This law brings up concerns from the Department of Justice, who worry this will sour relations with Mexico. On Tuesday, Governor Maura Healey voiced her opposition to a ballot question that would remove the graduation requirement associated with a passing MCAS score. This question, presented by the Massachusetts Teachers Association, will be voted on in November. I'm Michael Torno, and thanks for watching.
As planning for the 2024 to 2025 school year is commencing, the city is proposing a significant budget cut to Northampton Public Schools. This is a result of a variety of factors, including the ending of COVID relief grants. Changes to school life and community would include a decrease in staffing educators, salary cuts, increased class sizes, and less elective options for students. We spoke to members of the school committee, student union, and Association of School Employees to learn more.
Factors that impacted the current budget deficit we're in for the fiscal 24-25 academic year are largely an over-reliance on a reserve amount of school choice funds over many years. That's the largest factor. The other factors are increasing costs, which every department of the city has, a increase to wages that we pay our educators, which are fairly modest and still leave us relatively low among our peers, and also the end of the ESSER's funding, federal pandemic funding for schools.
Budget cuts will affect the student body in many ways. We're going to have much larger class sizes, and we are already at like 30 kids per class, and now it's going to be even more. There will be less elective offerings. Some courses that you signed up for, we all want to get those courses. Nobody wants to get put in their alternates, but that might become a reality. It's not just going to affect students negatively, it's going to make the workload for teachers and counselors much more, and they're not going to be able to reach every individual student. There's 3 counselors, adjustment counselors, who currently serve students with IEPs, and 1 who serves all students. So we're taking away a resource for either one of those groups, no matter what, if that budget cut goes through.
At this point, we need, at the very minimum, a level services budget, which means we would be able to provide exactly what we're providing now, which already is not enough. We're at a juncture where, we need to look at how much money the city of Northampton puts into education and puts into the schools, and we have to come up with a plan that's going to allow us to meet the needs of our students.
If you're interested in learning more or speaking up, the next school committee meeting is on April 11th at JFK Middle School. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.
This month, March Madness kicks off a tournament to remember, but probably not one you're used to. In the spirit of college basketball tournament, the library is hosting a playoff bracket where different poems square off with one another to see which one takes top honors. The tournament has been implemented recently by various schools across the country, looking for a fun and engaging way to celebrate written art. We spoke to our librarians and teachers to see how the matchups work and how to participate.
March Madness poetry, I called it Poetry Pandemonium, is really just a way to expose students to a bunch of different poems and sort of gamify it. And so March tends to be a long month in school without a lot of breaks like other months have, unless you're in the musical. So it's a competition between 16 poems that I chose, and they were somewhat random, but they just sort of needed to be short enough to put on the wall and be able for people to read 2 poems and decide which one they like the best.
The Poetry March Madness bracket created by Rochelle is excellent because it engages, personally, 2 of my favorite things, poetry and basketball, which you wouldn't think go together, but I think they do. I think Rochelle and Ty did a great job making the bulletin board and engaging English classes, but maybe it should be pushed out in advance to everybody and get more people involved, even if they're not in an English class.
The brackets move up, just like the basketball tournament, and we will end up with a single champion, hopefully at the end of the month.
I would do it again next month for National Poetry Month as well, with a different, maybe a different theme.
Thanks for watching. If you would like to cast your vote in the March Madness Poetry Bracket, please be sure to visit the library throughout the month.
Welcome back to Take Awards. In this segment, we pit different restaurants in Northampton against each other to figure out the best specific food items in Northampton.
This week, we went to the Roost and Familiars to find the best local cafe in Northampton.
Both restaurants opened in the 2010s and have been successful in downtown Northampton ever since, and enjoy a strong teenage population.
We got a BLT and an iced vanilla latte from both restaurants to help us decide the ultimate Northampton cafe.
First, we're going to start with the Roost.
This is the iced vanilla latte, and it has whole milk in it.
Yes.
So let's try it.
Oh, it's dripping, it's dripping, it's dripping.
It is.
Yeah.
I actually really like it.
I love their coffee. That's really good. It is, I'd say, the smallest bit too sweet, but overall it's very, very good. Oh, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm not really a coffee person. I like sweet coffee, but I think this is just sweet enough for me. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. This was pretty good.
Moving on, we have the coffee from Familiars, and this is also just a plain iced vanilla latte with whole milk. So.
This one was a lot less sweet, but, and for me who likes sweet coffee, honestly, a 5 out of 10.
There's a sweetness to it, but I wouldn't say it was necessarily vanilla flavor. I definitely did like it though. It's more on the acidic side in terms of coffee, so if you like that, then you'll probably prefer this. So I'd give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Next up, we are gonna try the BLT from the Roost. For the overall look for the Roost, it's a little messy. It's kind of hard to eat, but it does still look good.
Yeah. Oh, is there avocado in it?
Yeah, so I think I'll give the sandwich a 7 out of 10. I think it was pretty good. What about you?
I'd say it's about probably 7.5. I think there was avocado in it, which I really liked, but the bacon was crispy, the bread was nice. Yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Moving on, we have the Familiars BLT. Now, in my opinion, this one is a lot more visually appealing. I feel like
really good.
I don't know. It just looks better. Yeah, so let's try it.
This was incredible, honestly. Honestly, I'm gonna give it like a 9.5, like 10 out of 10.
I'd say this was definitely better than the Roost. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to tune in next week for our April Fool's segment. And thank you to the PTO for funding this week's segment.
Wheel of Courses!
Welcome back to Wheel of Courses, where we take a look into different classes and talk to the teacher and students who have taken the class and are in the class currently. Today we'll be looking into Women and Gender Studies to learn more about the workload and what the class offers.
My favorite part of Women and Gender Studies was definitely all the conversation. Miss Fontaine is a super engaging teacher. There was a lot of group participation, which made the class really special. The hardest part was definitely reading Missoula. It's a really sensitive book, but Miss Fontaine definitely made it really helpful with like the reading guides and making sure that every student felt comfortable. After taking Women and Gender Studies, I definitely have thought a lot more about what resources we have around here for like abortion access and things like that I hadn't known before I took the class.
My favorite part of Women and Gender Studies so far would have to be the open discussions with the class. I think it's so important to hear many different people's experiences and be able to share some of my own personal experiences too. It's a really engaging way to learn. Yeah, the workload of this class, it's not too much. We haven't had too much extra homework. What we've learned so far has been super interesting and important, but I would like to maybe go a little bit more deeper.
What makes Women and Gender Studies unique from other classes is that it's an incredibly relevant and interesting topic, and a lot of states prohibit talking about things around gender and sexuality. It's really cool that we're able to cover this content in class. This is a course that we start and we do a lot of history of women and gender in the United States, and we talk about ideas about privilege and oppression, and we talk about different categories of difference and how they all intersect. It's an elective class, and so in terms of workload, we do a lot of work in class. I hope that a lot of it's fun. Students generally do not have a tremendous amount of work to do outside of class other than some reading assignments. It tends to be a really interactive course that requires a lot of discussion and a lot of conversation. And one of the great things about the class is that we tend to go off on in a lot of tangents and on a lot of directions based on student interest and based on what's happening in the world around us.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to talk to Miss Fontaine if you're interested in this class. Tune in next week to learn about more courses.
for watching. If you are interested in finding a Jewish community or showing support, come to the Jewish Student Alliance in 118 on Fridays during Flex.
Also, make sure to stop by our bake sale today after school in the hallway by Guidance. We will be selling hamantash and cookies for the Jewish holiday of Purim.
Be sure to pick some up for your friends, family, or teachers. See you next week.
We're talking about the transcript.